Whoop. Morning, mates. Not sure whether you can hear this, but if you can, got a casting tournament coming up this weekend. It's at Dick Clayburgh Park, and I thought while we were coming up to a tournament, I'd talk about there's a lot of people trying pendulum casting out there now, and the one thing you got to realize, it is a dangerous cast if you get it wrong. One of the main things people get wrong is they don't add a shock leader. And there's a rule to shock leader. And the rule normally goes for every ounce you throw in, you multiply by 10, and you need a shock leader accordingly. So, for example, a 3 ounce, you'd want a minimum of 10 wraps or 5 or 10 wraps around the spool and up to the top of the rod and back down to the reel again. On 3 ounce, you need minimum 30. On, say, 6 ounce, you need a minimum 60. I always cast a shock leader of 60 because it gives you a good abrasion resistance. And I wanted to show you the type of knots that I use for throwing, for joining shock leader to your main running line. So let's have a look. So the first thing, when we're doing tournament casting, one of my favorite knots is a dead easy one. It's called a blob knot. So let's try and demo that. So you just need a lighter. What you do, heat the end up, turn that off, and you just put, hang on, let me see if I can show that better. So we just put a blob on the end of the shock leader that we're going to be using. All right, whoop, there. Now, once you've got the blob in place, then for tournament casting, I just use a 4-wrap uni knot. So let's go over that. I'm trying this live to see if it actually works, where we can get some people looking. I'm going to put this against my dark part of my shirt. Just want to clean that end up if I can. Okay. So let me just adjust that camera, put it against my belly. There's your blob knot. What we're going to do is take the thin line. Let me see if I can get that on camera. Everything's backwards. Going to take a turn. Whoop, and there. And then we go around both, the thick and the thin, 4 times to make a uni knot. Just pull that there. Then you spit on the line so it slides nicely up to the blob. And that's really all you need for tournament casting, is what a blob knot with a uni knot joined to it. All right, then you trim these ends. And it's done. Now, if you're using braid, say throwing braid, again, you can use this on the tournament field. Makes it easier to find if you're using a mono shock leader. So again, we're going to blob it. So I've blobbed the end over. Then we're going to take some braid. And with braid, what you got to do is double the tucks. So if you're using braid to mono for the field or for actually fishing, just go round and make a uni knot, but instead of 4 tucks, go up to 8. So because braid is very slippery. But if you also for fishing, it's a good idea to use a mono and get that real tight again. So it's an 8 tuck uni, and there, look, you've now joined your braid to mono. The beauty of using a mono shock leader when you're using braid is you've got extra diameter, which is going to give you better abrasion resistance. So there's the 2 knots there. So that's using a blob knot. Now, I was going to show you one. If I'm fishing for heavy stuff in the surf, I do this. I do a double tuck and I pull it tight until it makes a figure 8. All right. Then I take my thin line, which is my running line, and go through the figure 8. And this is a really strong knot. Got that the wrong way around. No, I haven't. Go through the figure 8, both sides, in one and out the other. So you're going through the figure 8 with your thin mono, your running line. And then you just cinch your thick line up, your shock leader, and come to it and just do a normal uni here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you're fishing with braid, pull the 2 together, cinch your knot down. That's how I lost my teeth. Oh, there. Now you've got a uni coming to a figure 8. All right, and that will lock in. That's done. Someone calling me. It's my mate Sammy. Hey Sammy, you're live. Can you hear me? Okay, did you see I was doing that uni knot, showing the knots and things? Oh, I'm live on YouTube. Yeah, I thought I'd go on YouTube to see how it works. Oh, all right, I'm going to continue with this. All right. So that was Sammy. So what we've done blob knots, and we've done the figure 8 knot. Now the key is when you're pendulum casting, you must be using a shock leader. Don't think you can go out there, even with, say, a 40-pound braid, you think you can get away with throwing 4 ounces. Because of the small diameter, you cannot beat diameter when it comes to abrasion. So even casting, just coming over a slightest bit of damage on a guide, that thing can fly off, and it's doing like 200 miles an hour. I was at a casting tournament years ago. There was a guy from Japan, I think he was from Japan, and he was showing me what they call flatlining. They don't use shock leaders, and he was demonstrating it to me. And they've got to be a very smooth cast, and they just use the running line to cast. Well, as he was demonstrating it to me, his line broke and went through a truck window. And we were in like foot-high grass, and he dropped to the grass, and everyone was thinking it was me that had broken off, and I was pointing to him, but he was totally mortified. You do always want to use a shock leader, and you cannot beat diameter when it comes to shock leaders. And also against abrasion, if you're fishing in the surf, just use it. If you're just running normal surf fishing, I often just do a straight overhand. Let me have a look, see if I can show you that with a normal uni. But if you're doing fishing, you can get away with just a a 4-tuck uni on mono and an 8-tuck uni on braid. So just a normal fishing situation. It's just an overhand. All right. Then we take the thin line, go through the eye of the overhand, like so. Just cinch it down lightly and just put a 4-tuck. If you're using mono, you know, I should have had Sammy here working that camera. 1, 2, 3, 4 tucks on mono. Cinch it, pull it tight, pull the two together, cinch them down. That's good enough for fishing. You ain't going to need any more than that. All right? But if you're fishing for heavy stuff, do that. Go through the loop twice so you end up with that figure 8 that you can go through. That ain't going to slip ever. That's going to lock on. And just remember, if you're using braid, you need to do double the amount of tucks. Hope you can all hear this correctly. Can you give me a thumbs up? Someone tell me if it's okay. Hang on. It's telling me to learn more. Yeah, I should. All right, I'm going to end this stream. I just wanted to share that with you. It's vital if you're learning this pendulum cast that you stick to that shock leader rule, because honestly, it will kill someone if it hits them. And your danger area is quite a lot until you get that down, especially when you're learning and go backwards, forwards, anywhere. All right, so there you go. What we're going to do over the next week or so is put a more detailed video together. I'll get Sammy to edit and we'll put some graphics in so you can see better than us. But I just wanted to share that with you. Don't forget, we've got the tournament down in Kingsville this weekend, Saturday, 9 o'clock it starts, and you're all welcome. Bring any rod. And if you want to learn something, that's the best place to go to learn it, because there's a lot of good casters there. And the one thing I know about them casters is they love sharing knowledge. So come along and join us. It's definitely worth it. You'll see some great casters down there. That's Kingsville, Billwit Park, starting 9 o'clock Saturday. And we'll see what goes down. If we've got some decent wins, you're going to see some big numbers. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for your support. I'm going to end this stream. We'll see how it goes. If it works well, I'll be doing more of them. Thank you. Your stream will stop immediately. Okay. Hey.